Okay, now, so we are looking at a Keystone Raptor. This is a very large toy hauler. This is a fifth wheel toy hauler. You can actually see it has 3 axles on the back. This right here is going to be about 44 feet long. It's going to be about 12.5, 13 feet tall, maybe even taller in some areas. But the advantage you're going to have is that it's going to give you a much longer garage area.
Sure.
What's nice about this one is it still retains a very nice living room area, which oftentimes is kind of an afterthought in a toy hauler.
Sure.
Let's take a look. And this is the 423 Raptor.
Yeah, this more suits the need of what I know I'd like to have inside a camper or a fifth wheel, is a living situation like this where you could hang out, you know, have friends over, the whole deal.
Absolutely. So when you look at the layout here, you have this full-size sofa. It's actually a theater seat sofa, so it reclines. You have a dedicated theater seat here, as well as a nice living area, and everything points kind of towards the TV. It's that very L-shaped living room space.
With the fireplace, which is a must. If your wife is going to get convinced to purchase something like this, has to have a fireplace, at least for my wife.
And it's cosmetic and it's even functional.
Sure.
Right? So what's new about this specific floor plan is Keystone opted for a much lighter tone cabinetry. They moved away from having the real dark tones. They went with a darker tone chocolate couch and love seat.
Sure.
And then they went with a really nice barnyard style floor in it. So it has some really nice, thoughtful elements that typically weren't included in fifth wheels, even toy haulers or standard fifth wheels. You can see you get really tall slide heights as well. You can easily walk underneath a slide if the couch wasn't there.
Sure.
But from a kitchen perspective, too, you can see how the kitchen is very much laid out like a residential kitchen.
Sure.
A lot of nice cabinetry, a lot of nice lighting accents.
We got a double fridge.
And you have a double fridge, and this is a propane electric refrigerator. So it can run off of electricity or it can run off of propane.
Okay.
So if you're going to be boondocking and you don't have electrical connections, this can actually use the propane tank that you have.
We were looking at a couple different brands like Fusion, I think Venom, and is it this guy, the Raptor? So there's a couple different brands out there. And again, this is still maybe even a little above my pay grade for what we're considering. But when we have kids and they're, you know, 7 to 10 to 12 years old, this is something that I might want to evaluate maybe long term. So I don't know if this would be my first camper or fifth wheel, but this is something ideally...
Something you could move to.
Totally. Selfish reasons, this is something that I could see us having 10 years from now for darn sure.
Yeah. And a lot of these are going to have a loft even. So you'll have a real nice loft space above them.
I like that.
And that's pretty common on toy haulers. In the back here, this specific one has the 12-foot garage.
Okay.
So you have a very nice space, and it's very emptied out when you're not towing anything, which is really nice.
Sure.
Let me turn some lights on. So the other nice aspect is they put your washer and dryer connection here in the garage as well.
Okay.
So you can put a stackable or a combination unit here, and it gives you a very convenient spot if you're going to be doing laundry while you're out camping.
Sure, makes sense.
Plus the ability to black out your windows.
Well, I like the having the entertainment system up here, you know, because I'm not sure if this one has a, it has the outdoor screen porch, right? So it can have a little
Yes, the back porch goes down, and then it has a railing system that goes around it to give you kind of a back balcony area.
Seems completely unnecessary. So.
So one thing that's nice about this Raptor 423 is that they were still able to integrate a nice outdoor kitchen area.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they put a good cooktop here, but what I really wish, and what I see missing in a lot of these outside kitchens, is a sink.
Sure.
I think a sink is probably the most important aspect of this outside kitchen, and a lot of them are just kind of doing away with it.
You know, I said that to my wife when I was on FaceTime earlier while you were shooting a different video, that I saw a sink on another camper. I said, it's got the TV, the grill, the fridge, and the sink. And I said, it sounds like a little thing, but going in and out of the camper, you know, 5, 8, 10 times a night, washing your hands, eating food, making s'mores, doing the whole deal. I said, an outdoor sink to me is actually kind of important. And again, I'm still learning. I don't have everything figured out by any means. So I really enjoy these kind of walkthrough videos that you guys probably do as well. So thumbs up if you do.
I appreciate it. And honestly, the sink comes in handy, especially if you're going to go fishing or you're cooking and you just need to wash your hands off. You know, just
100%.
Having something out there. I actually had that on my first travel trailer, which was by no means a high-end travel trailer unit. Looks like it's starting to rain.
That is the 2 p.m. rain they were calling for.
All right, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. It is raining pretty hard outside. That being said, let's take a look at the numbers on this coach. So this one has a gross vehicle weight rating of 19,000 pounds. The actual cargo capacity in this unit is going to be 3,800 pounds. When everything's said and done, This fifth wheel should be towed by a dually.
Okay.
There aren't going to be a lot of single rear wheel trucks that can handle this type of weight, and even if there are, you would be at the very, very high end of what they're capable of handling from a payload perspective. Because out of that 19,000 pounds on a fifth wheel, unlike a travel trailer, which only has about 10 to 15% transferred over to the truck, this is going to have closer to 20 to 25% of the weight transferred over to the truck, which means you could have upwards of 4,000 pounds or more being transferred from the front of this fifth wheel to the back of your pickup truck.
Gotcha. So
and a dually is really what's going to be able to handle that.
That's something to consider, because I don't know if I'd use a dually for my landscaping company, right? Still want to kind of keep in that little soft spot there, the perfect little area where I can use it for business, and also if we did want to go escape up north. So I don't know, it's something to consider.
Let's keep looking. Okay, guys, so now we're looking at a Bighorn. Now, this is not a toy hauler, but there are some really nice things about these that you may like. First of all, what you're going to like about this setup is that it does have a drop frame. Okay. Now, a drop frame is awesome because it gives you this huge storage area. You want to crawl inside there?
Dude, you could crawl inside this thing.
You could.
I could put a couple people in here like a clown car.
It's actually bigger than a lot of bunkhouses.
Look at this. You can put a kayak in here.
Yeah, it's massive.
That's huge.
And the reason why you have that ability is because of the way the frame's designed. Okay. You want to hop out? Let me show you. See, he gets out so easy. You can tell he's young.
I'm 33, man. Things are starting to ache.
Okay, so underneath here, this section of the frame right here, let me put some lights on so we can see. This section of the frame right here is actually mounted below the main I-beam. Okay. So this is called a drop frame. If this was a straight beam design, the frame would protrude up into the storage area and you would have much less storage. Okay. If you look back there, you can actually see where this frame sits lower than the rest of the frame.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So a drop frame design is great because it does give you significantly more front storage. Now, this is the most popular floor plan when it comes to RVs, and this is called a rear living room floor plan. Want to hop in?
3270 RS?
Yep. So this is a 327. This is going to have a really nice rear living room type setup. This is the #1 selling interior floor plan of any fifth wheel.
Oh, well. Okay, just for this brand and this style?
Period. Fifth wheels, period.
Okay. I like this a lot because we're family-oriented people. Like, we want to have kids and do the whole family thing. And I don't want sections, you know. I don't want it partitioned off. Like, if we want to play cards or watch TV or, you know, watch sports events or something like that. I like that it's all-inclusive.
Yeah, it brings everybody in that same general area.
It's like an open floor plan.
Yep.
Like for a house.
Exactly. And on a Bighorn, they do a lot of things that another manufacturer may not, such as they do all this molding up top. They like to trim it off really well. They use larger crown molding. If you look at the cabinets, even the cabinets generally have a little bit more intricacy to them.
Sure.
And then back here, you can even see how a lot of that carries over to the TV, the fluted little trim on the side of the TV, fireplace still, more countertop space.
Is this all a slide, right?
This is all a slide. So this whole wall right here is a slide. And on this side, this is also a slide. Now, this is a full depth slide over here, which means it's going to extend out 3 feet. This one right here only extends out about 1.5 feet. Gotcha. So, and that's pretty common with this floor plan of fifth wheel.
Well, again, I like the open floor plan style. You know, and so what turns into sleeping, though? Like, how many people can you sleep in a setup like this? Is this a bed? Is this a bed? So
this is just going to be theater seating. It will recline, so you could sleep there, I guess. Sure. I've sure fallen asleep plenty of times in my theater seating. This will turn into almost a king-size bed.
Is that right?
It's kind of in between a queen and a king. Typical fold-out sofa.
Okay.
Right?
Gotcha.
Over here, this, of course, isn't going to turn out into a bed, but in many floor plans, you'll have the option to put a booth here, which will convert into a bed.
Sure. I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on booth versus a table like this, because when I was FaceTiming my wife and showing her another camper, we liked the table setup, but then I said, you're going to lose 2 to 3 people to sleep. So I'm not sure what your thoughts are.
My thoughts, I cosmetically like the look of what's called a freestanding table, even though it's actually attached to the wall. Sure. But I like the look of this better. Sure. I think it probably adds even to the value of the RV if you ever go to sell it. Sure. However, you do lose sleeping space. And that was something you have to, of course, deal with if you're going to go with either a booth or a dinette. In our case, we preferred the dinette like this versus the booth, even though we lost sleeping space. But there have been times when we wished that it was a booth.
Sure.
Right.
Well, and that's one of the selling points for me is, and again, like we like to host and we like to entertain, and maybe some of you guys do as well, is that if I take another family with us, you know, that might, you know, they have a tent or some tents, or we have kids, you know, friends of our kids that come with us, right? We might want that extra sleeping space. So we could have 7 or 8 people in here versus just a family of 4 or 5. So that's something like, again, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. So it's kind of like a Plinko trip with where we go and what we get. But this is all really good stuff for me to kind of learn as a new, you know, RV buyer. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll take a look at one more floor plan.
Cool.
All right, so now we're in front of a Mesa Ridge. This is what I would consider a mid-level fifth wheel. It's definitely not, you know, a $100,000 fifth wheel, but it's not a $30,000 fifth wheel. But it has some pretty nice construction perks and some pretty confusing ones. The nice one is the fact that it has a frame feature that is very often not seen on this price point, a fifth wheel. If you look under, you'll actually see that it has an I-beam frame, but under the I-beam frame, you see that it has a boxed section. And that boxed section is usually something you see on much higher end fifth wheels. So that is a really good thing.
What does that do for us?
Well, it adds rigidity to the frame. So anytime you have flex in a fifth wheel or a travel trailer or anything, that flex is being transferred somewhere inside, whether it's to the roof, the walls, you know, all sorts of different components. So anything you can do to make the frame more rigid, you give it more structural capability to support whatever's inside of it. Cabinets, things like that, don't like the flex.
Sure, makes sense.
Now, the confusing aspect is the use of cable-driven slides. So cable-driven slides, in my opinion, aren't a bad thing, but I'm not a huge fan of them on larger slides. I'd prefer them on smaller wardrobe-style slides, mainly because they're not as user-serviceable as your traditional rack and pinion slide or Schwintek slide system, where you, as an owner, can service it and push it back in. If this slide system gives you problems, if this gets too loose, you're unlikely to be able to service it yourself. You'll probably have to get someone else to come out to fix that for you.
So this isn't something you would service necessarily at the campsite. This is not a very serviceable thing?
Not for an end user. For a mechanic who knows how to work on it, who knows how to access the system, might be. But the reason why I want to show you this specific fifth wheel is because it has a very good characteristic if you do plan on bringing children with you at some point. Let's take a look inside of this 371 MBH.
What's that?
Yep, so this has the solid step from LCI, has a really nice deep top step. As you can see, rear living room, really nice, right?
Yeah, this is one I FaceTimed the wife because the living room is huge, number one, or whatever you guys would call this space. And then I like the little bungalow here that's hidden underneath.
So this is a mid-bunk. This is my favorite type of floor plan. Almost every manufacturer has one. This specific one is nice because it has a sofa in here that turns into a bed. Some of them you can order with a top bunk that can kind of flip up so you can actually sleep multiple people in here. But this one's also nice because it has a desk in here. So if you want to use it as a mobile office, if you're going to be on the road a lot and you need to do videos or whatever you need to do, this is a great place. And it has a spot right here for a washer and dryer. So this is your laundry room in this specific unit, where some of them, the laundry room is in the master bedroom. Actually, most RVs, the laundry room is in the master bedroom, which can sometimes make it difficult to get to.
That's interesting because I'm not saying we're going to be a camping RV YouTube channel, you know, with the wife and I, but I do make YouTube videos with our Lawn Care Landscaping YouTube channel. So it is one of those things where I am on the internet a lot, managing, you know, social media. Kind of weird thing to say because I'm not a YouTuber, but that is really cool. I do like the feature too. Plus, honestly, it's just some isolation and some space. If the kids are doing something or people are changing out of bathing suits, like it's just another spot where people can you know, have some practicality.
And something else you'll like is if you follow me up these stairs here, above the mid-bunk
I did see this.
Is a loft.
That's pretty cool.
It is. Now, some fifth wheels will have that ladder over here on the higher portion of the floor. And I prefer that because that, to me, is a pretty tall climb for a small child.
I don't need a 4 or 5-year-old kid, you know, climbing
exactly.
up, you know?
Exactly, because if somebody falls off of that, especially if they need to go use potty in the middle of the night, and then they're sleeping, or everyone else is asleep and they're trying to climb back up that.
Heck, I might even go up there, man. That's a cool little thing.
It is. Lofts are always cool, and it is cool to see most of the mid-bunks are going to have a loft.
So this is a mid-bunk. This is what they call a mid-bunk design.
This is specifically called a mid-bunk design. With loft.
Okay. Yeah, I like this whole open floor concept. Again, that's just what I'm calling it. Sorry for not using all the technical jargon.
It is. It absolutely is.
But this makes so much sense because you can have everybody together in one room. You know,
yep.
And that's I don't know why. It's just, to me, that's something that when you're, let me know in the comments down below if that's something that you guys can relate to if you have a setup like this. But to me, this, for what I'm trying to shop for, kind of makes the most sense. That's what I feel.
Yeah, and the design of the mid bunk was really to give you the rear living room design, which is what this is called, while at the same time giving you that dedicated room in case you need it for the kiddos or for whatever guests you may have with you, or even if you need it as an office.
Sure.
Let's say you bring family with you and you do have to do some work.
Right.
They're out here watching TV. You can kind of close the door, get in there, do what you have to do,
sure.
and not be interrupted.
I like that. Yeah. Large fridge, good sized kitchen. I think my wife would definitely appreciate something like this. So.
Yep, and one thing I don't know if you've noticed in a lot of these RVs, most of them are now coming equipped with a residential option. So you now have the ability to have a completely electrical residential refrigerator.
Wow.
Now you have to keep in mind that that's typically going to require that you have shore power, which means you're connected to shore power, or you have a battery or charging system that gives you the capacity to be able to run a 2,000 watt inverter to be able to support the use of the fridge.
Okay.
There are even some that offer solar kits that give you the ability to run the fridge.
Really?
But when you have a gas electric, you have the option of being off grid. You
Sure.
don't need to have that dedicated shore power.
Gotcha.
So that's the thing to remember about these.
Fair enough.
Anyways, guys, we're going to keep looking at RVs, but definitely want to show him as many as possible before he leaves this area because they have a huge assortment and we're inside, and even when it's raining, we don't have to worry about it.
Sure.
So I'm going to put the link to his channel in this video so you can subscribe to his channel. But guys, if you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to this channel. Big shout out to TerryTownRv here in Grand Rapids, Michigan for giving us unlimited access to their facility and to view all these beautiful trailers. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.